I thought I'd show you a different side of my collection. It's a small collection. Hello. Excuse the fan. I have my fan on, my heater, because it's really cold right now. And I have this jumper. I have my AKB48 jumper. You've seen me unbox. Well, unbox, yeah, unbox this shirt, this hoodie on another video. You can see it. If you wanna see it, just go to my page and see it. And maybe I posted the link of that video on the description. Anyway, this is my AKB48 shirt. I'm wearing it. You can see it. Anyway, and this is not what this is not what this video is about. As I said before, excuse the fan. I'm cold. I don't know if you can hear me properly, but hopefully you can hear me. Anyway, so I wanted to make this video a while ago. I didn't make it before because I was too lazy. But then I thought like, oh, I might as well make this video today because today is a day off. Like I have 2 days off from work, so I thought I might as well do it today because I have nothing to do. And so yeah, I'm gonna show you today my collection of BL series, BL manga that I've had since high school, really. And so as you can see it, it's all right here, and I'm been putting stuff on top because um, I got a few new stuff and I'm missing a few things in my collection. You know, like a few volumes, and I know they're like coming out. They're being reprinted soon, so I need to make some space for them. Uh, so yeah, I'm going to show you what I have. It's not a big collection. I know many people who have. I've seen many people who have like bigger There's this TikTok person. About what's her name? I don't know her name. I don't remember her handle. I think it's BL Lover or something. But she collects like every single BL book that has ever been published, and it's always been my my goal to like ask her like if she has a book that she doesn't if she has a book and she doesn't have it. And so far I ask her if she has like this book, and then she always have it. Every book I ask her if she had it, she's always had it, apart from like one book that is already like completely not published anymore, and another book that, well, she's not BL, but anyway, I'll show you those books later. But I don't have the one book. But I asked her once about Let Die, this Korean manhwa that was published, and she didn't have it because it was like completely unpublished and they don't sell them anymore. And the only time I read it was in the library, and then after the library, I read the rest online. Anyway, I'm not making any sense. I'm going I'm going out of the anyway. So the point is, I'm gonna show you what I have, and I want to also rearrange my stuff, okay? And then maybe talk a little bit about each book that I have. But yeah, so I'll take everything out, and then I'll put it on my floor, and then one by one I'll show you, and then I'll fix it, okay? So you'll see me in a second. Okay, so everything is out. I didn't touch this because it's like my small collection. No, it's not even a collection, it's just like small things of manga that I have that is not LGBTQ. Apart from like, no, they're all straight. They're all straight. Anyway, so first of all, I wanted to start with what I'm definitely gonna put in here first, which is the big books. And this is something that I printed out myself. I love the book so much, and I keep on reading. Every few weeks I will go on and read it again online. So then they are not published. They are not officially published. There are scanlations, scanlations. There are funny scanlations. They never scan and translated by the fans, and then published online, and but they haven't been published like originally first yet. So I just downloaded everything, and then I printed it. I went to the Office Works here in Australia. There's a place called Office Works. I don't know if they have it anywhere else, but I went there and I spent like hours just printing these books. This is only one. These 3 books in one. So I'm gonna go remember what I'm putting in my bookshelf because they're heavy and they're big and they take too much space and they're like floppy. You see, they're floppy, so they need to get like pushed down. So first of all is this one. Is Ruta and Kodama, or Ruta to Kodama. It's 3 books, and I printed everything. This is just for personal use. Don't think like I'm printing it and selling it or anything. No, it's just personal use. I love this story. It's like so cute. It's like so refreshing. There is no real drama or anything. It's just like a puppy love from school. These 2 kids that they meet. This is the new guy in school who is like very not shy but like a good kid. And then this is the delinquent who's actually like very cute and very nice. And yeah, and they meet and he falls in love with him first, and then they stay together for high school. And I don't know, I'm really bad at explaining, so excuse me, but this is one of my favorites. These 3 books is complete and you can read it online anywhere really if you just search it online. I don't think it's been what happened there? I have the auto zoom in my camera. Anyway, I don't think it's been published online like legally anywhere yet. I don't think so. I haven't heard of it. But it's a book that I really liked, so I wanted to have it like physically, and I can't buy it, so I just printed it myself. And I'm gonna put that there. There for now. I'm gonna wait until I show you everything, and then I'll fix it properly. It's cool. Well, this one is one of my favorite books as well. I don't remember the name. Let me see if it's somewhere here. I love this story. I don't know why. I read this book when I was in high school. Was it? It was in high school, or I had just finished high school, and I read this book, and it was like, it wasn't because when I was like at my end of high school, it was my goal to read every single complete Yaoi manga in Manga Fox. So I will go every day. Every day I will go into Manga Fox and filter everything by complete and by popularity. I'm running out of air. I'm talking so much. Anyway, excuse me. Sorry if I'm like, I sound like I need air, because I don't know why I need air. Because I can't breathe properly from my nose. Like that's something I have all my life. Anyway, so I don't talk that. I'm a very quiet person. I don't talk that much. So whenever I talk a lot, I just run out of air. And I'm talking a lot right now because I'm like something I really love. And I'm running out of air. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, it was my goal to go to Manga. It was my goal to go to Manga Fox and read every single yaoi manga that was complete by popularity. And this wasn't like that popular. It was like under, and it does have like a trigger warning. But I'll say it now. I'll say it now, and I don't care. Okay. I'll say it now. If you are the kind of person who just gets offended easily, or there are like things that make you uncomfortable, like what's the point of reading like yaoi manga or manga in general? Because you know, like some of the best stories and the best mangas have like some controversy sprinkled on top, you know, and that's why I like it. Like they're not, because real life is not filtered, you know. Like just because your life has been like brought up to be like so clean and easy doesn't mean like your neighbor's life hasn't experienced anything that's wrong, you know, like wrong to something that so it doesn't mean like just because you were brought up fine that you have a normal life doesn't mean like the person next to you that you've never met before, but is probably my neighbor. I've never talked to my neighbor before, but probably she or he in their childhood and onwards, they didn't have a probably they didn't have a proper life, and I don't know anything about it, but and you know, life is not filtered. So whenever they do, what I like about mangas, yaoi manga, is that they don't filter. You know, like this book is about abuse and uh, alcoholism and some underage stuff, and you know, those things happen in real life. You know, it doesn't happen to everyone, but it happens in real life, and just because it hasn't happened to me, or maybe it did happen to me, I won't say it, it's my personal life, but doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens. Yeah, it shouldn't happen, but it happens. And manga touches those issues as well, and she's like, you know, everyone is human. You know, these things happen. It shouldn't happen, but it happened. And people who ignore manga because they're not comfortable with whatever is happening there, like be it this or that, really, what's the point? You're just gonna read like BL all your life, like little. No, I manga. Thanks to manga, like I've been very unsensitized about those things, and whenever I know that's whenever I find out that something like that happened to a friend or someone close to me, I know not to judge them and like talk to them about like something, because at least I've heard, I know these things, not at least I've read about something that happened like this. Uh, and you know, I don't want to judge the people who had that thing. Anyway, I'm not good at explaining. Yes, the point is like, if you want to read manga, don't just ignore things because you're not comfortable with it. You know, it's better. I like reading it. Even I don't care how uncomfortable I am reading something. I read it because I want to know the story, and I want to know what's the reason why that thing was included in this story. You know, because they don't just. Some people do just add it because they want to add it, but some people add it because, you know, that's because this and this and this and this, and that's part of the story. And this story, it has a little bit of trigger warning, you know, but it's one of my favorites. I love this book. Their love between these two guys is so genuine. Like, he doesn't show it, but he needs him. Like, he needs him in his life. Like, he's the reason why he is so much better, you know, and he is like a fan, I guess. But he also has his own issues with his family, with his mom, and they found each other, and then they fall in love. And it started off as a curiosity, and then ended up on them living together and having a really beautiful life together. And when I saw the ending, I was so happy for them, and like, they went through all of these obstacles, and then at the very end, they found each other, and they were able to be happy together, you know. So this is a really good story. This is so good that I think I have it somewhere here. It's so good that when I went to Japan, I went specifically to find the actual Japanese book. So this is the original. Wait, can you focus? Yeah, this is the original published book. You see, it's all in Japanese. And this is Yaoi, like R18 Yaoi. And yeah, so I bought it. I loved it so much that I bought it. And it's like I love the art. The art is beautiful. The story is really good. If you're not triggered by anything, beautiful story. And I wish they published this book like originally. But I'm happy I have it. And I printed it. I don't remember the name though. What's the name? It should be here somewhere. Koi no Manaka. Manomo. Mantaka. I know Koi no. I don't know. I'm not good at Japanese. I found it. It's called. Wait. Koi no Manaka. That's what it's called. Koi no Manaka. Love the story, beautiful story. I recommend it to read it. I recommend people to read it if you are not triggered easily, you know. This is another story by one of my favorite authors. This author, Ogawa Chise, she made this book. Where is it? She made this series Caste Heaven, Caste Heaven. I don't know how you pronounce it, but she made this series. So this is her only, as far as I know, her only published book in English, like licensed by BL Sublime. And I love her. I love her. I love her as Nota. She has some of the most she crosses the line on trigger. You know, like trigger warning, this and this. And one of her, she has a lot of like things between families and uh, stuff that rhymes with ape and what's it called? And you know, when they people can capture people and they have them captive in one place, blah blah. Anyway, so she has a lot of those things, but also she also has like some very wholesome manga, and this is one of the very wholesome manga. This is called The World Revolves Around You, I think. The World Revolves Around You, yeah. And it's one of my favorites. I think I have it in English, in Japanese as well. Let me see. I think I do, because I know I bought her. Yeah, no, that's not it. That's the other one. I thought I did, but I have the other ones. I'll show you later. Anyway, so this story was really cute. It's about, I can't remember. I think like this guy found out that this guy has like, he thought he hated him because he had like bad attitude, but then he noticed that he was really cute, and then he fell in love with him, and then he's like so fluffy and so cute. It's anything by Ogawa Chise, that's her name. Anything by her, you have to read it. It's like, if like some of them are very fluffy, so if you're triggered by many things, then just ignore that. But you can read this one, and you can read the other one that's somewhere here. I'll show you. But this one is a pretty good story. The world revolves around you. Yeah, so I bought it. I didn't buy it. I printed it, and this is one of the books that I wish anyone will publish it for real. Now what's this? Oh, this one. This one is really cute. I Should Not Love You by Ogawa Chise. This book, I have the right here. I loved it so much that I bought the Japanese edition. I think this one is one that I bought online from like the publisher, not a publisher, from HMB Japan. They sell manga as well, and I bought this from them because I loved it so much that I wanted to. If I love something, I want to support the artist, so I always buy their product, you know. And I bought the original one. It's in Japanese. I don't understand it or anything, but I love the art, and I love the artist so much that I just bought it, and also like I printed it out. So, but yeah, I wish they had this book published. What is it about? It's about this little slut who is him, and I forgot. I have to read it again, but because I always read this, and I know that I love it. But he meets this guy, and then he falls in love with him. You know, like the usual. But their love story is like so good, like so cute. Like I love it, and he's like very like, you know, serious, but he's like completely in love with him as well. I'm really bad at explaining things. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll find someone else who can explain these things to you. But yeah, this is book one of my favorites. Ogawa Chise as well. So yeah, read it if you want. There is another one, The Heart of Miscalculations. This one is boom. I'm zooming out and in and out. My thing is I don't know how this works. Anyway, yeah. So this is another Ogawa Chise work, and I do have the book right here. It's one of my favorites again. I love her art. I love her. The art is beautiful. The thing, everything she does is beautiful. And yeah, he's a slut as well. And then he makes like a thing about pretending to be dating this guy, and then things happen, and then he falls in love with him for real, and then, you know, it's beautiful. It's like very wholesome. There is nothing triggered about this. Read it, and I wish they published it as well. Now this one is about and all. So he was rich, and he was his butler, and then his family went on in bankruptcy, and the butler became really rich, so that he could capture him and at first ape him, and um, and he didn't want to see him because he was like the sign of his whole life, but he never showed up. He never told him that he was actually in love with him. So like, I know, you trigger stuff, So yeah, he captures him. There's another word for capturing. How do you say it? Capture. I don't know. Anyway, so this is one of my favorites as well. Ogawa Chise. Ogawa Chise, of course. Do I have her work here? I don't remember. I don't think so. Anyway, so yeah, one of my favorite books. Yeah, he likes being tied up to him. So read it if you like, but be careful. It's trigger warning. Right, this is another one. This is a collection of one shots that I really like. So I printed them all, and I put them in here. One of my favorite was this one, Romeo and Juliet, which I think I have I'm pretty sure I bought the book for that one. Right here. See, right here. I loved it so much that I bought the book, and I love the art. I think it's Kojima Laco or Laco. That Boy and Juliet. It's like a Romeo and Juliet story. The Boy and Juliet, Kojima, Lalako Kojima. That's her name, the author. And this is like one of my favorite books ever. The art is beautiful. This is like a collection of one shot. It's not just like a story of them, but the story was really cute. And I love the art. The art is beautiful. Like, I wish her art. I think she has one. Yeah, she has this book. She made this book as well. Ninth Life Love. I don't know how to pronounce this one. I don't even know what it means. But yeah, if you have this book, then read all of her stories. Her art is beautiful, and her stories are like really cute. Anyway, I'll get to that later. But yeah, this book, and it's a collection of one shots. But this one I just got like a few, because not all of them have been when I printed this like back in 2009, 18, no, probably 17. I don't know how old was I don't remember. But when I first printed this, not everything was translated, so I don't know if by now it's already been translated. But I got some of her stuff, and then I loved it, and I printed it and I put it in. And then I also have Agawa Chise's one shot here as well. I don't remember the name, but I mean I liked it, but it's not like something you can read. I don't know. I don't read one shots anymore. I don't like I like to read the whole story, And this one of my favorite stories. I love this author, and I wish that at least one of her works will be published, because I just love this author so much. Hayakawa Nojiko Sensei. Yosora no Sumiko Kode. That's the name of this. I loved it so much that I bought this same book right here, and it's a thick boy. I paid full price for it. I love her art. Look at this. Look at this, just so beautiful. You have to read her stories as well. This one is about these two childhood friends. They went to high school together, and they were in love with each other, but they didn't know they were in love with each other. So they separated when they graduated. They separated, and then years later, he becomes a teacher, and he finds out that one of his students is actually the son of this guy. He's his son, and then that's when they reconnect, when they meet again, because something happened with a son. He got in a fight or something, so they called the parents, and because of fate, it was the first. Was usually whenever they call the parents, it was usually the grandmother who went to see the teacher, but this time it was the father who went to see the teacher. And then when they first met again after years, but I want to show you because it was a beautiful scene. I just love the art of this artist. This artist has like the most amazing art, and it looks like a little sketchy, like a sketch, not like sketchy, but the art is just amazing. It's beautiful. Where is it? I can find it. So yeah, so they meet again, and they fall in love again, and there's actually a sequel to this, but the author hasn't finished it because she has amazing art, but she has quite a few books that have not been finished. There were only like 3 chapters, and then she stopped for some reason. See, like they meet again there. You can see it. Anyway, you have to read this book. This is one of my favorites. I recommend it. You should read it. You can see the name. Can you see the name? Sarah. No. Anyway, this one. You'll read it. You'll fall in love with it. I love it. Even the story when they talk about the mom is dead, of course. When they talk about the mother, even the story, like even when he fell in love with the mother, he could never forget his childhood friend. The way when the mother was like, when the woman, she was like thank you for sharing your story, but like she knew, like when he told her the story about him and his childhood friend, because at this time he didn't know, he wasn't sure if he fell in love with him. It was just like, like a story. And then but she knew, like when he told her about this story, she knew that he will always love him and only him. And she was second, but she was like, read it and tell me, okay? Tell me the story. If you know any of the stories, or if you wanna like talk about the stories, just write it down, because I love the story. This one is like one of my favorites. I love this story, and I wish I want to know more about it. It's only one book, and the sequel is about the son. The sequel is about his son, but it's not complete. It's been years, and it's only been like 2 books, I think, 2 books or 3 books, and they haven't been fully translated either. And I want to know more about them, and I love them so much. And so yeah, if you love the story, tell me. Let's talk about it, because I love it, and I wish Afghan will be perfect for this story, because that will be off, and that will be Gun, and Gun is really good with kids, and I wish Afghan will make a series of this. Anyway, next one is what's it called? I forgot the name, but I love this. I love this one too. It's also the same author, Nojiko Hayakawa. I think it's Endokun, I think it's called. But look at the art. It's so beautiful. This is so wholesome. How can you not fall in love with this art? This has a sequel as well. I think it has the first book that I have here. I bought the original Japanese book as well, by the original publisher, and then I printed out the other one, the bigger one that I bought in English, because it's not licensed in English. And it has a sequel with, I think, has 2 books or 3 books, called Endokun. I think it's Endokun, right? Endokun, no, yeah, Endokun not, I think it's called. But yeah, it's really wholesome. Like he's like this kid, and then he's like the bad guy. And you have to read it. I'm really bad at explaining stuff, so I'm not gonna make justice to any of this. And this is another one of the same author. I love her art so much. Just look at that. Look at how beautiful there is. And this is like this. All of this is BL. It's not Yaoi. It's BL. So it's not like hardcore stuff. It's very wholesome. It's also safe. So if you are triggered by stuff, this doesn't have anything to be triggered about. Like all of her work so far, as far as all of the work that I've read of her has nothing to be triggered of. And yeah, it's really cute. It's like, I love the art. It's like, look at that. Look at you. How can you like? How can people not publish her work? You know, that art is just like amazing. Like the bubbles and even the stories are like 10 out of 10. Not even 10, like 50, 100, 1,000 out of 10. And I have also the real book. I bought I wanted to support the artist, so I bought the Japanese book, even though I don't understand any of it. And it came with like a you know how they, if you buy from somewhere, it comes like an extra thing. Anyway, so yeah, I bought the Japanese book and I printed the thing. Okay, so that was all of my, that was all of my printed stuff. Now all the stuff I printed are out. I showed you already. Now let's go to the other second biggest box that I have. The second biggest books that I have are my art books and some other stuff. So this is the first art book that I ever bought. It was the Okane Ganai art book, and this is like one of my first like proper yaois that I've ever watched or read. Because back in South America, they had bootleg DVDs, okay? Because if you buy a CD, a bootleg CD is like equivalent to like $1 per CD, but if you buy original, it's like $50 per CD. And in a third world country like Peru, you either have $50 to eat for like a month, or $50 for one CD, you know, for original CD. So in Peru, it's more normal to buy bootlegs than to buy original, because it's, you know, poor people, and I was poor. So when I went to when the boom of DVDs for anime became popular, like every single store had like bootleg DVDs for anime, and it wasn't easy to find because the internet wasn't like that accessible for, it was like rich people kind of thing. So everything was DVD. So I went with my mom to, I was like what? I was probably 14, 15, no, I was 15, 16. I went to one store that we used to go every time, and then I told the lady like, okay, give me whatever you recommend and whatever is new and popular, just give me like all of them and I buy it. So she left, and then she came back with like a whole stack of DVDs. I didn't even know what it were. I just wanted to try something new, and so we bought it, and then we went home. And then when I got home is when I started looking one by one what DVDs she gave me, and in those DVDs, it was literally the OVA for Okane Ganai, and I was 16. The DVD for the OVA, I think 4 OVAs or 3 OVAs in one CD, and I was like surprised, and I saw my mom, it was in the room, but she wasn't looking at the DVDs. She didn't even look at the DVDs, so I hid it. But she gave me a DVD for this, and she gave me the first season of this one as well, Junjo Romantica. But I have known about Okane Ganai before, because my best friend, she showed me some stories about it, and I really liked it. I know it's very, very controversial, but you know, I was edgy when I was a kid, so I didn't care, and I really love the art. And now that I see the art, it's like meh. But back then I really loved the art, and so I bought the art book. I saw it online and I bought it because I really loved it. And right now the story is up to volume 11 or 12. No, I think it's probably 13. But the author just dropped it, so she hasn't finished it, and that was back in 2019, 18 that she dropped it, and she didn't continue. So pity, but it ended like in a very good plotline when he finally started feeling stuff for him, you know. And he's like the bad guy who keeps on like, he bought him with money. Anyway, it's not something I would recommend you to read or watch, because you know it has a lot of triggers, and it talks about so many things that are really wrong right now. It's not something that I would recommend you to watch or read, but I only read it and watched it because it's like the because I read it when I was a child, so now it's like nostalgia. That's it. That's the word. Nostalgia. Like something like you read because it's nostalgic and it's like your childhood. So that's why I like it. But it's not something that if I read it now, I'll probably read it and be like, here's another book. And if someone like you or like someone, but not you, but I mean like you will read it now, will feel really uncomfortable reading it. So I don't recommend it to people to read it. But this one is also a childhood favorite, Junji Romantica, and I read all the books that had been published up to number 20 something. And if you love Yaoi, you know Junji Romantica because like this is like the father of Yaoi, like modern Yaoi, and it's still ongoing. Like the author hasn't stopped. What's her name? Shunkiku Nakamura. She hasn't stopped publishing this book. I don't know if it's in hiatus or something, but because she has this one and she has where is it? But I have it somewhere here. But she has these two stories, right? The very famous ones, Junji Romantica and Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. And to be honest, I love Sekaiichi Hatsukoi more than Junji Romantica, but Junji Romantica is always my closest. I'm gonna be honest. When I was 16, when I first started reading this manga, Junji Romantica, I like the story and everything, but my favorite couple has always been and you might think this is wrong, but my favorite couple was the egoist, Junjo egoist, with the guy who just graduated from high school and his sister's ex-husband. He's like 40 something years old, and that was my favorite couple. I don't know. They probably have a picture of them here, but back then they were my favorite couple, and they only have like out of 10 chapters they probably have only one chapter for them, and that made me really sad because their story was like so wholesome because of the age gap, which like I don't care about. I'm not into age gaps now, but back then it was like the best thing ever. Yeah, back when I was younger, I used to love reading manga about like an older guy and a younger guy. But now that I'm like older, I'm not really into it anymore. I prefer more when the younger guy is the top, and then the older one is the bottom. But before it was the older guy is the top, and then the younger guy is the bottom. It's changed. I don't really care about the age gap anymore. Like doesn't matter if they're like 40. No, not doesn't matter. I mean like I'd like it if like the age gap is not that big. I don't like big age gaps anymore. Like before when I was younger, I liked it. Now I don't like it anymore. Right here, this couple, right here, this couple. They used to be my favorite. Anyway, so I found the art book and I bought it online. I bought the art book. Now this one is one of my favorites as well. The author, what's her name? Nekota Genoso. Nekota Yoneso. This is one of my favorite authors. Her first book that I ever read was something about, I don't remember, but her first book that I ever read was really good. And then the second book that I ever read of her was Electoral Delusion, which is not been published in English. And then my favorite book of hers is, of course, the only book that was published in English that I have somewhere here. Don't be cruel. Hidoku Shinaide. Don't be cruel. I fell in love with the book so much, and I know the start was. It started with something that rhymes with ape, but like, and then it started. Like first book and second book, I think was like not knowing, like it was he was being practically forced. I guess he was blackmailed into doing it. And I know that triggers a lot of people. So trigger warning: if you don't like the stuff, then don't read it. but then like if you on, I think he, I may be wrong and I may have dreamed about this, but I think like later on he apologizes to Nemo. I think Nemo is his name. He apologizes to him. Like he feels really bad that that's how he started, and I think that scars him. Like that top, the guy, him. I think in some way that, but he stays, the relationship started like that. It really bothered him because he felt like he forced him into liking him instead of like making him like him normally. I think I haven't read the book in a while, but I think that happened because I stopped reading it for a while because I don't like reading all work that is ongoing. I prefer reading anything that is finished and then published like fully, so I can read it fully. But this was one of the books that I think the author only made one book, and she intended it to be one book only. But then later it became so popular that she has made a whole story. And she did the same with another book about this guy who hated gay people, but then he fell in love with this gay guy. Anyway, so but yeah, but this is one of my favorites. I'm pretty sure if you are a BL fan, I'm pretty sure you've read uh, Tommy Cruel, and so I don't have to tell you much about it. And but yeah, I really love the story. I loved it so much that when I went to Japan, I bought the book Volume 8 in Japanese, still in the wrapper, and I bought it because it came with plushie. What is it? It came with this. It's an anime exclusive, I think. I don't know. This is the tag. I only bought it because it came with this, and I paid like extra so I can get this. And this is from the what's his name? I forgot his name. But yeah, and also like that guy, he's like my biggest crush. He's like my ideal guy because he loves Nemo so much. He's like love him, like love, and like he's everything is Nemo, and he's so thoughtful and he's so hot. So he's like my ideal guy. And so yeah, I bought this book. I paid like $70 for it. Oh. So yeah, it's like one of my favorite stories, and I like her art. I like her art now. Her art before was not good. I think it has a picture of the first book that I ever bought of her. Not bought. I mean like the first manga that I ever read from her. Because this is her art book from like old stuff. Yeah, found it. The first book that I ever read from her was this one, Their Story. My cat is behind. What are you doing there? Oi! What are you doing to poor Maro? Anyway, so yeah, that was the story that first ever story that I ever read from her online. And yeah, that's my favorite. I really forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, it's gonna be a long video, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Next one. Now, excuse me for a second while I put that away. Okay, be back. Okay, now that I arranged that properly on my bookshelf, you can see it, but it's over there. Now we start with the proper published books and published licensed books. This story is one of my favorites. I loved it because it's like, I feel like it's a manga for it's a manga like for boys, like men can read it. It's not like, it doesn't feel like it's like targeted to women. It's more targeted to more people. And usually whenever a guy tells me like they want to read a manga, like they want to like try Yaoi, I always tell them to read this because this is like something that a guy will like it because it's kind of shonen, but it's Yaoi, but it's Korean, and this is like my ultimate favorite. And then when I bought this book, the book was completely out of publish, but now they're back to being published. Oh, what are you doing? My cat is being weird. Anyway, so yeah, this is a story. It's Totally Captivated. Totally Captivated is one of my favorites, and I've read it so many times. What's she doing? she's being weird. My cat is going everywhere. Anyway, so totally captivated is like I read it when I was in where I just finished high school, and I came across the first book, and I fell in love with it so much. I read every day. The one part when abandons he tells him like he'll abandon him forever. I cried because he cried, and, and then when I found out that the very end of the book wasn't the real end of the book, that the author actually made two different books that was the real ending of the book, and it was explicit, like X-rated. I lost my shit and I had to find it, and it was so hard to find. And suddenly I found it, like luckily I found it in Right Stuff or something, and it was the only place that they had it, like anywhere. So I bought it for them, and they only had like a few copies left. So I bought it from them, and I was so happy. And I read it, and I cried, and and I still love this story so much. It does have some trigger warnings with family, and I guess it's not implied, but I think there is some underage stuff for the main character, for him. I think so. They implied that it is, but they didn't show that there was. But they didn't say there was. They just implied it. Because like he's an orphan and he got adopted by this rich man. And anyway, you know, if you read the story, you probably know what I mean. But yeah, the last two books, this is a spin-off, like a side story. I never read it because this is like a prequel, like before he met his love. Something about this guy who is like the other guy. I didn't read it because I didn't want it to spoil my story, because I know that if I read this, I feel like weird knowing that they're still working together. And I'm the kind of person who like, if I write, I like reading a manga where the two main love story, the two main couple are like the main couple, and he doesn't cheat with other people, or like there is a possibility of him being with another guy. I just don't like it. That's my only triggers. You know, like I don't care about the other things, but I do not like that. Because it spoils the fun, you know, like it spoils the thing of like, oh, true love, like, you know, like they went over all this and they fell in love with each other. It spoils it for me, so I don't like it. But so I didn't read this. I didn't read this story, so I don't know exactly what this is about. But I bought it because, you know, I want to support the artist. So yeah, that was this book, and I put this there. So yeah, so read it if you like it. I love it. You know what? You know the Korean, I mean the Thai couple. Well, they're not a couple anymore because they separated. But there is this couple called Max Toll. They made a lot of. They made the first story was Together with Me. Together with Me was their first story as a couple, and then afterwards they did Manner of Death, and I think that's the only two things they did. But they're like the hot couple, like the couple, and I feel like they would be perfect for a live action adaptation of Totally Captivated. I think they would be perfect. This will be Max, and this will be Tool. And I always like, I wish, if I had money, if I was rich, I would definitely put money into making them, making a live action series with Max Tool as the main couple for this. I wish. That's my dream. That's what I wish, because it will be perfect. They fit the character so much. Like, because the bottom, he is originally a top, but when he met this guy, he became a bottom. But he wants to top him because, you know. And then when I see Max Tool, I feel like they both look like tops, but at the end it's like, you know. Anyway, I don't want to get into details, but yeah, I wish Max Tool would be like the main couple for that story. But now that Tool has gone to university to study and they're already separated, they're in good terms. And then also Max is dating our queen Mokwarnit, who is obviously our queen in the Thai fandom because she's also one of us. Um, but yeah, I'm sad that they separated, and hopefully he finishes his studies and he comes back, and probably hopefully he does another series with him in the future. But at this moment, we don't know anything. It's just up in the air, you know. But I'm happy for them, and I wish them all the best. I just wish they will make the story. I want them to make Totally Captivated. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Okay, so I think the next thing I can put in my bookshelf is, I don't know what to put next. I have so many books, but I want to have them all together, you know. Because I have these big books, and then I have these big books that are not gay, and I should probably put them together so that it goes like evenly, and then I should make them the small books, and then make the bookshelf a little smaller so I can have more space for more books at the bottom. But then it will like I don't like it because it will mix all the yaoi with normies. So no, I think I just keep it like that. Anyway, but then if I put the small books here, and then I make it smaller, then this one looks bigger. So maybe I should put this at the bottom, the big ones, and put it in the bottom. Anyway, so next book. I think next books I should put is Only the Ring Knows the series. The series of Only the Ring Finger Knows. This book has controversy only because, not because of the story is quite wholesome, but it has controversy because the publisher was really bad. John Publishing. I didn't finish reading the last two books. Volume 4. I know I didn't finish it. Volume 4 and 5. Yeah, I think volume 4 and 5 I didn't finish it. Because I stopped liking it. I stopped caring about it. The first one that I ever read was Only the Print Fingernails, the manga. I read it and I really liked it, so I searched for more, and I found out it was actually a novel. So I bought the novel, and I really liked the first two. But then by the third one, I stopped caring as much, and then the fourth and the fifth came out, and I just didn't read it. But I bought it because I like to support the artist, of course. So yeah, I have it here. Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Is it? Oh, volume 4 and 5. So if you like to read, maybe read the manga first, and if you really want to know more about it, you can always read the books. It's not something I would recommend. I just think it was nice. I just put it in my bookshelf, and this is like taller than this. I don't like it. I'll do something about it later. Let's just keep going. Next books in my bookshelf will be these ones. What's her name? The Yaya girl. Her name is Yaya Sakuragi Yaya. I have her work. The first work that I ever read of her was Bones of Dreams, Bones of Love. No, that's not the first work that I ever read. I think the first work of her that I ever read was I think it was called Tea for Two. I think it was called Tea for Two, like drinking tea. Tea for Two. I think that was the first story that I ever read. Because this is the spin. Sorry. Because this is the spin-off of the story. Because he used to be a small kid in the Tea for Two story, and then this is him grown up. No, not him, not him. It was his friend. His friend. He has a friend, and he used to be like really tiny in the story of T42, but in this story, the spin-off is about he's not. He's just a friend. He's not even part of the story, like properly part of the story. But he's just that's how they're connected, just by him. That's why it's a spin-off. But it's about this guy who is in high school who has who's grew up with this guy who is older, probably in his 20s. He's probably like, I'm guessing 17, but he's like in his 20s, and he's like the monk of the shrine. And yeah, at first he only sees him as a little brother because they grew up together. But then, like as he grows older, he notices that he's in love with him. If you don't like that kind of stuff, don't read it. But otherwise, do I recommend this for people to read? I don't know. I liked it because I don't know, but I like it. I just liked it. I wasn't like in love with it, but I liked it. And then this is a spin-off of the same book. In the other book, he is the friend of this guy. So like T42, it was the friend of this guy, and he only plays like a small part of the story. And in this book, he is the friend of this guy, and that's how they're connected. So he shows up on this book a few times, only as a friend, like visiting a friend. But yeah, this story is about a doctor and a guy with a daughter, and they meet and they fall in love. I guess that's the story. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at explaining. If you're really curious about this story, yes, go online and read it or buy the book. I think the books are already like out of published, not published anymore, out of print, not of. I'm speaking too fast, I don't know. I think the stories for this are already out of print. I think so, because like when I bought volume 3, I didn't have volume 3. I didn't buy it because I didn't have money, and then recently I saw it on Amazon. They only had one copy, so I bought the last copy so I could complete the story. And I think they don't publish it anymore, but that's a good story too. Right there. Do I recommend the story to people? If you really like Yaoi, I would recommend it, but otherwise, read it. I can't force you to do anything. My cat is Yaoi. Anyway. Hi, this is future me. I already finished filming the whole video, but I noticed it's way too long. So I'm gonna stop here, and then next part is gonna be the continuation, and it's gonna be out the following week from this video. So if you are waiting for it, then yeah, thank you for watching this video. And if you see any video that you want me to talk about on this video, if there's any video you want, if there's any book that you want me to talk about in this video, from this video, you can just leave me a comment and I'll read the book and I'll make a video specifically about that book. Okay, you know what I mean, right? I will make you let me know, and I will read the book and I will make a video specifically about that book. And yeah, so just let me know if you like to. You don't have to, but yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and hopefully you'll be back to watch the next video. sorry it's so long. It was really long. Okay, bye.